So speaking of our demographic, you notice my little plastic baby barrette?
I didn't notice that. That's quite lovely.
It's subtle. It's a subtle reference to
Yes.
decades past. Back in the 90s, I wore baby doll dresses, cardigan sweaters, and plastic barrettes. Safety pin earrings and those two nose rings, a mistake my grandma won't let me forget. Back in the 90s, we were so indie. Mail-ordered hundreds of records and zines, spent angsty hours in our suburban bathrooms trying to achieve that perfect shade of manic panic green. I left my heart back in the 90s. I left my heart back in the day. Well, I would trade in my high-speed internet to wear those red 9-hole Doc Martens again to go back to stay. Back in the 90s, the bands were cooler. They still played music on MTV. We spent our summers at Lollapalooza while those other kids obsessed over NKOTB. Back in the 90s, we met in chat rooms, made plans to meet up at local hardcore shows, hung out with skaters in strip mall parking lots, waiting for beeper callbacks on the payphone. I left my heart back in the 90s. I left my heart back in the day. Well, I'd forego the skinny girl margarita for a Jolly Rancher and a bottle of Zima to go back to stay. We learned to play guitar, or at least to play 3 power chords, while the fish heads hacky-sacked for hours in the schoolyard. We cried and cried when Kurt committed suicide. We worried how Courtney would survive. Well, I guess she's doing fine. Back in the 90s, I found feminism in Anita Franco and Bikini Kill. Women in music before the backlash. You know I'm waiting for that revolution, girl style still. And use both hands, now use both hands. Oh no, don't close your eyes. I am writing graffiti on your body. I am drawing the story of how hard we try. Back in the 90s, we weren't so jaded. We kept our shoes on through airline security. Bill in the White House, despite the scandals, we rode that bubblelove.com prosperity. And I left my heart back in the 90s. I left my heart back in the day. Well, keep your iTunes and your MP3s. I want a mixtape, not a burned CD. Let's go back to stay. And I'd exchange my Gmail with Telnet to for John Catalano all over again to go back to stay.
You know, listening to that song, I realized what a different experience Jess and I had in the 90s.
Yeah,
I stayed home and watched Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.